Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Am I the Asshole? If you enjoy hearing Reddit anecdotes, it would greatly benefit the channel if you could like or subscribe. Now let's dive straight into our first story. Am I the asshole for sending my sister flowers anonymously and making her husband upset? I, M, 37, have always been close to my sister, F, 35. We talk regularly, and during one such conversation, she told me she's been feeling really depressed, overwhelmed lately. As we were talking, I could tell she was holding back tears. So I decided to do something nice for her. I contacted a local florist and put in an order for some flowers. I had them delivered to my sister's place of employment with a note reading, "Thinking of you." A few hours later, the florist called me up and told me a man has been calling them non-stop and demanding they tell him who sent his wife flowers. They tried to explain that it was against their policy to reveal that information, but the man wouldn't talk no for an answer. Apparently, he became so aggressive and threatening over the phone, the shop called me up and asked my permission to reveal the name of the sender to the man. The man being my brother-in-law. It turns out, my sister had called her husband and thanked him for the flowers. He told her he hadn't sent any flowers and accused her of having an affair. He believed her affair partner had sent them to her, which is why he called the florist like a lunatic, demanding names. Now my sister is more depressed than ever, and she's been fighting with my brother-in-law ever since. My friends think I should have included my name on the card. Had I done that, they say, this blow-up would have never happened. I say it's my brother-in-law to blame, as he was the one who can't control his temper. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Oops, I totally forgot to explain that I gave the florist permission to tell my brother-in-law it was me. So he knows, my sister knows, everyone knows at this point. Sorry for the confusion. Everyone sucks here. So, I'm not sure how anyone thinks sending anonymous flowers to a married woman would end up well. You are 37, old enough to know better. Sister thinks husband did a nice thing for her, turns out husband did not. Who did? Why did you not sign the card? Have you told them it was you? Husband is an all-around jerk for flying off the handle right away. Why assume wife's sister is having an affair right off the bat? I have a feeling sister is depressed because of him. OP, why wouldn't you sign the card? That's just dumb. It's obvious your sister is in a borderline abusive relationship. Please tell me you've cleared this up since she's more depressed than ever. You're the asshole. So is her husband. OP, why wouldn't you sign the card? He was going to, but he dropped his pen in the bucket of shit he was stirring up. Even if husband gently, kindly said it wasn't him, where does that leave her? Calling everyone she knows, not knowing who sent them, begging the florist to tell her so she can say thank you, eventually calling you to vent about how she got these flowers and she doesn't know from whom so that you can be like, surprise, I am the best. Maybe she would feel like it was a stalker / someone with a crush on her and feel really uncomfortable. I'm assuming you know your brother-in-law, and this isn't 100% out of character, but even if he isn't usually prone to rage, most people would at least feel comfortable / somewhat suspicious, right? If I got anonymous flowers and they turned out to not be from my husband, I'd be creeped out and feel watched. OP's friends are right. He should have signed the card. Everyone sucks here. My friends think I should have included my name on the card. Had I done that, they say, this blow-up would have never happened. You set the stage, and this is the fallout. If you wanted to give an emotionally uplifting bouquet, great. But why didn't you tell her it was from you? Now my sister is more depressed than ever, and she's been fighting with my brother-in-law ever since. And when things blew up, you still kept your silence and watched Rome burn. You're the asshole. Am I the asshole for getting my roommate's car towed and her parking pass revoked? I, 23 female, have 3 roommates, Sarah, 22 female, Jenny, 24 female, and Lucy, 20 female. Our apartment complex has a really bad parking situation at the moment. We used to have 2 garages, the main deck, which was bigger, and the second deck, which is smaller. We could park in. Currently, the main deck is under construction, so the only option is to park on the second deck or to park in a different parking 2 blocks away. The lot is owned by the same people who own our apartment. When we moved in, we all paid for parking. I paid extra to have the last spot, so I didn't have to call people to move their cars when I got home. Since the main deck is closed, we have to park in an odd arrangement. We have 4 spots designated for our apartment. The only issue is the first 2 spots get blocked in by the second 2 spots. We had a system that worked perfectly for a couple of weeks. Since Jenny and I often left the earliest and came home the latest, Sarah and Lucy would park in the first 2 spots, and we would park behind them. Recently, Lucy has started parking in my spot instead of pulling forward to her spot. This meant I would often get home from a long day of work or school and have to either call Lucy to come down and move her car, or I would have to park 2 blocks away and walk back home. I confronted Lucy about this many times, and she always used the same excuses that she was tired, busy, had somewhere to go later, etc. I have emphasized to her many times that I currently work 2 jobs, one of which I don't get home until very late, and that I need to be able to park at the apartment. She just apologizes and promises to remember. Well, she hasn't. It's been going on for months now. Lucy recently went home for Thanksgiving and left her car parked in my spot for a week and a half. I got fed up with it and decided to go speak to our complex manager. She was super sweet and said she would immediately deal with the issue since multiple other people had complained about Lucy already. Well, the complex manager towed Lucy's car and revoked her parking pass for the building. Since she wasn't following the rules, parking in her own designated spot, and I guess she was parking in handicap spots and guest spots without a pass, and because she hadn't paid to park for that month, Lucy came back and was furious with me for reporting her. She was screaming and calling me an asshole and saying I was intentionally trying to ruin her life and get her evicted or kicked out of college. I apologized and said I didn't know they would tow her, but she didn't care and is now telling everyone how much of an asshole I am. Jenny and Sarah agree with me that I did the right thing by reporting her. A couple of our other friends agree with me too. But Lucy and a few others think I took it too far and are a major asshole for this. Am I the asshole for getting my roommate's car towed? So wait, Lucy would come home, see 2 empty parking spots oriented nose to tail, drive into the first one and just stop, leaving an inaccessible parking spot in front of her? Not the asshole. This is absurd. It doesn't matter how tired Lucy is, it takes exactly the same effort to stop in the first spot versus stop in the second spot. Yes, that was what she was doing. Her parking spot was a little inconvenient since her car would get blocked in, but I was always happy to come move my car if she needed to get out. So basically she effed around and found out, seriously, did she really think that she was going to block take your spot for 10 days and you would just walk those 2 blocks every day to and from, not saying a word about it? Jeez. Between that and parking in handicap spots, she is deep in the entitlement zone and needs an intervention. Not the asshole. I would suggest discussing removing her from the roommate arrangement at your earliest opportunity. Not the asshole. Lucy has shown 0 regard for you, especially by leaving her car parked in your spot for 10 days. That's ridiculous. Frankly, if I left my car for 10 days, I would 100% have left my keys with my roommates. Personally, I would harden up and get Jenny and Sarah to agree. Lucy needs to leave a spare set of keys in the apartment anytime she doesn't park in her own spot, at minimum. Not the asshole. The apartment manager had already received numerous complaints about Lucy's parking. You had also talked to her multiple times, but she never rectified her mistakes. She is now in the find-out phase of FAFO. But I'm trying to figure out how her parking could affect her standing at uni. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.